the story has to start District 6, where I was born. We were given friendly advice to relocate to somewhere else that has already been set up for us, called Mitchell's Plain. I want to give a heavy shout out to Westridge High, because we didn't have art programs. But when I started doing graffiti, I started painting on my school. And they never said anything. You know, I thought I was being non-diplomish, you know, Falko, nobody knows who I am. And they were like, nah, bruh, we know it's you. And they called me to the office and they were like, they gave me a $70 at the time. Spray cans was 2 rand each. And they said, paint something on our school. I felt like it worked out because I got spray paint for free.
Falko Fantastic, formerly known as Falko One, is a pioneer in graffiti and street art. Hailing from Cape Town, South Africa, he has significantly shaped the street art scene, renowned for his signature elephants and artworks that seamlessly interact with their surroundings, incorporating elements like windows, pipes to create dynamic site-specific pieces. Falko has traveled extensively, transforming rural and urban spaces into open-air galleries, bringing art to underserved communities.
Heavy is the head to wear the crown. When I take the crown off, I put it on ice.
It's just crazy, bro. When I looked into your stuff, I was like, bro, I've known your work for so long, and it's so epic. You know how many guests have come onto the show and mentioned you and your work and how it's inspired them to start their careers, and how it's inspired so many people in so many different lanes of the creative industries, that their whole pull into whether it was hip hop or this world was an artwork they saw of yours.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, I am aware of you, I think primarily from SA's Got Talent.
Crazy. Yeah.
So that was where I was like, okay, and I like beatboxing. I'm glad it made it to the front, but it's underrated. It's not as easy as people think it seems.
Yeah.
So I was happy for you, man. You did something with it, and I don't know
Thank you.
if that helped you springboard your future endeavors, but you did well.
Thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a moment in time and helped a situation, helped me financially with my family and everything, so it was a really, really special time. Bro, tell me, if we had to if you had like a dinner party and someone asks you what you do for a living, how do you best articulate? Are you graffiti artist, or do you like illustrator? Do you artist? Like, how do you best speak of what you do?
I think before meaning I think from when I started graffiti.
Yes.
Easily until late 2000s, I would have emphatically said I do graffiti, because there was no other kind of, term for it. Yes, you did soften it up by saying, I'm a spray can artist, or, if you go to a certain client and they don't want to hear graffiti, I'm a muralist.
Okay.
We played in between those lines.
Yes.
But when the term street art came about, I think 2009, it might have been around before then, but at that time social media helped catapult the idea for it. Because now people were posting works on the internet that didn't exist anymore, and it required you to have stood at a certain angle, but the story of the artwork could only be told from this angle. So, and then people started doing the yarn bombing, and everything catapulted with the internet and social media. So street art came about, and unfortunately, that's what I was. Not me calling myself a street artist, but that's what I was, And then it was the rise of, when you're painting on the street, Banksy, and then you're like, yo, me bro, leave a man alone, I'm busy. And but then, so for long I would have said, I think for the whole 2010s, I would have said then I was a street artist, because when I started doing the site-specific work, I had to be honest with myself and say, this is street art, and it's not graffiti, and no matter what I do. And what I did feel is that I couldn't do both at the same time. So I kind of pushed graffiti to the back a bit. Right thing to do. It was definitely the right thing to do. No regrets. But yeah, moving forward, and then I started,
And today, how would you categorize it today? Like what you do? Say an artist.
Yes, I'm going to say an artist, but reluctantly so.
Yes, as a true artist would. I love that. Yes.
It was a long answer I gave you just to that first question.
Perfect. You're the most exciting person at this dinner party now, bro.
Okay. No, it's mutual. Okay.
Yeah. And now tell me something. If we were to like one day read the book about your life, right? Or watch a Netflix documentary on your life path, where do you think that story would begin? What would you see as like the intro of your story? And feel free to give us context on your parents and upbringing. And I would imagine it would start somewhere there. So maybe you can paint some early context for us.
How long is this podcast? How long?
Oh, we got time, my brother. Let's go. I want to hear your story.
I mean, versions of this obviously workshopped in my head.
Yes.
For a long time. Even, when you start doing graffiti, then you think one day in the future they'll look back at me and they'll see what a great artist I was. It's what all artists kind of set out to do.
Yeah.
Is to be remembered for their work, So, the story has to start District 6, where I was born. Stayed there for 3 years. Then we were given friendly advice to relocate to somewhere else that has already been set up for us, called Mitchell's Plain.
How old were you that time?
3 years old.
3 years old.
But I remember moving, like straight up. I remember getting out in Mitchell's Plain. We had 2 dogs, 2 Labradors, a black one, and one that was black and white, but the black and white one was the daughter of the black one.
Yes.
So the black one's name was Rady, and the black and white one's name was Whitey. I don't know why, but that's what it was. So I remember that, man. And we still had a combi. And
so for people who don't know, it's obviously the government at the time had decided District 6 was going to become white folk area. And so they were going to relocate everyone into...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you remember this?
I remember that, man. And,
crazy, bro. Wow.
I remember bits and bobs of actually being in District 6. I remember going to church, the Moravian church that's still up there. I remember going to it. Wow. But I think Mitchell's Plain was meant to be, man. I think that was like what it had to be. And
Well, tell me about your parents. What did they do like professionally? And
so I am what they would call a statistic. I grew up in a single parent household, just a mother. Grandfather had a big role in raising me.
Okay.
No
artists, no one in
my man. I'm glad you asked. There was nobody we could reference as artists in our community, in the colored community, man. I couldn't go to anybody and say, do you know so-and-so?
That's so crazy, bro.
That shit didn't exist, which leads me to believe that it's why we're struggling like that to find our artistic identity. We didn't have people before us, and that's why we struggle in like the art business as well. I only found out about how to deal with an exhibition properly a few years ago.
Crazy, really.
Yeah, man, yeah.
That's so crazy to think about. You can't just go out and like in this day and age, go YouTube something or go reference something or have someone down the road that's doing a similar thing or a family friend that's doing a similar thing to say, speak to that uncle. He does a similar thing. Yeah. That's crazy to think about.
When I was identified as having some form of artistic talent in the hood.
Yes.
People will come to you and say, you must either be a graphic designer or a sign writer. Now, I wasn't going to be either of that.
Yes.
In my best attempt, I tried to go and do graphic design.
Yes.
in graphic design school. This was 1993. 1992, 1993. I was supposed to do 1994.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd end this whole shit show early. And 1993, one of the lecturers called me in, and I genuinely can't remember who it is. And this cat just said, yo, you need to stop doing graffiti because there's no market for it.
Kidding, man.
Yeah, man. And but I would like to say that wasn't like the sinking moment.
Yes.
It's just that it sat with me.
Yes.
It was like, why am I, But one day I just got up. We had to do history of art. They put up a Monet and we had to do a little writing about it. I was like, I don't know this shit. But there's no, importance to me. I was being young in hip hop, but now that I'm older, I understand the importance of it down the line and, process and all that shit.
Yes, yes.
So,
Take me back a little bit. What do you remember? Like, what was the first thing that caught you? I would imagine it would be drawing, but do you remember how you got into drawing? Or was it just something like most kids do? Or was there like a moment that something caught you about?
Yeah, maybe. I could always just draw.
Really?
But, I remember like in primary school, on a Friday afternoon, the teacher's like, who wants to draw me a poster of the flea? With the anatomy chart or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, I'll do it, and I'll sit at home with it and be quite proud and take it in on a Monday, because your work's getting hung up.
Yeah,
who don't want, that's what an artist wants, his work to be seen.
Wow.
So I was always going through those things, and I went to a high school called Westridge High.
Yes.
I want to give a heavy shout out to Westridge High. The principals at the time, the teachers, because we didn't have art programs. We didn't have drama, whatever, none of that. We had a school. Sport was your thing, okay, there's an avenue for it. If teachers saw you had a little inclination for anything extracurricular, they will kind of, rally behind you.
Yes.
But when I started doing graffiti, I started painting on my school.
Crazy.
Relentlessly, like just hammered it. And they never said anything. I thought I was being non-diplomish, Falko. Nobody knows who I am. I'm like the fucking SWAT cat, you know what I'm saying? And they were like, nah, bruh, we know it's you. And they called me to the office and they gave me a $70 at the time. Spray cans was 2 Rand each.
Wow.
And,
that's incredible, man.
Yeah,
what a beautiful story.
Yeah, and they said, paint something on our school. And because, again, we didn't understand the principles of graffiti, and that comes down to apartheid and cultural boycott and, not getting the information as it should be given.
Yes.
So, you don't think you must write your name. And I did a big, save the ozone, because it was popular then,
Yes.
Saving the ozone in the 80s.
Yes.
So I did save the ozone, and then, that was kind of it.
Wow.
I felt like it worked out because I got spray paint for free, which is,
Jeez, man, what an epic story. How did the name come about?
There's an artist called Falko, Falco.
Yes.
And he sings a song, Rock Me Amadeus. 1986. I latched onto that song. And basically, all I wanted to do was learn the lyrics to all the music that he was making, which was all in German. If you look up Rock Me Amadeus, great song.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to learn the lyrics to it. So I thought I'd do German for a year at school because they offered German.
Wow.
Yeah, and didn't learn anything about the lyrics because for whatever reason, I wasn't absorbing the information I was supposed to.
Yeah.
But once a month, we used to get this youth magazine from Germany.
Okay.
And it was like I don't know if you remember Abit magazine. It was an old school magazine we used to have in the 80s, which was a monthly magazine, I suppose. Okay. And it had what was going on around South Africa with the youth.
Yes.
So they had a version of this, but in one issue there was a picture of the Berlin Wall, and it had a bit of graffiti on, and that's when graffiti latched.
Wow.
That day, I'll never forget it. Now, usually I would keep these things, but for some reason I don't have this magazine anymore.
Wow, that's
Which
incredible,
yeah.
man. So that was the medium you saw it, and you saw it represented there, and you were like, wow, that's the shit. I love that. What is this? This is what I want to be doing. This is so dope.
Because, at the time, and this was 86, at the time I wasn't into hip-hop. I only got into rap music, hip-hop, 88.
Okay.
So between 86 and 88, I was doing graffiti on paper. But my influence was techno and acid house and hip house.
Okay.
So all my early graffitis was like smiley faces, and which was common for the time. I'm not going to be like the only one who was doing it, but and then like doing little acid house graffiti pieces. And the day I got into hip hop, that fell away because now the graffiti I was wanting to do, found its home. Or the home found me, at least.
Yes. I love that. Do you remember like what you heard for the first time in hip hop? What was?
George, I used to dislike rap music.
Crazy, really?
I used to. Even Sugar Hill Gang came out. I remember. I was born in 1972, so I was 79. Okay, you do the math. I was younger than what I am now, but this it was too jaunty for me, man.
Okay.
I like Brit synth pop and I liked rock, punk, So when it came out, I was like, and everybody knew the lyrics. I remember one when I Need Love of L. Cool J came out, everybody knew the lyrics in class. People used to write it down. People used to write it on the walls. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why is this guy rapping? Why is this guy talking in a romantic voice? And it was like, just to irritate me, but just because I was like listening to fucking Steve Salgurley, Jack Your Body, and But I went to somebody's house one day, and they just put on NWA. This is like in 88, and he put NWA on, and I was like, this sounds like, for me, what was being said, how it was being said, the everything about it, whatever people say is good about NWA, I agreed with it when I first, heard it. So yeah, that's what drew me to it. And I grew up like in a conservative home. Mom was like super Christian and shit.
Okay.
For me, NWA cassette, it's time to be a rebellious youth.
Play it behind her back, which is not at home. Otherwise, those lyrics are never working.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And then that was like the gateway. And then one day I went to the base for the first time.
Yeah.
Don't know if you've ever heard about the base.
Tell me, what's the base?
Base is a club that's in 88 Short Market Street.
Okay.
There's another club there now. I don't know
yes.
whatever it is, but there used to be a club called the Base, matinees. People from the Cape Flats would come through by train on the 1:30 train outside town center, matinee club. But everybody gathered there. It was hip hop. It was what we used to call boogie burning. Today they'll call it hip hop dancing, but it's boogie burning, which is a derivative. It's quite. I love it.
Yes.
And then it was punks. And we had a big punk scene in the Cape Flats, like legit,
Crazy, are you serious?
Yeah.
Big punk scene in the flats.
Yeah, they were the two groups who I was aware of, and if there were any others, I apologize. Don't punk me to death.
Yeah.
Totally Rejected and the British Bulldogs
were the
two punk groups.
Crazy.
I know group is not like the right term for but groups. And people I grew up with, man, people were in your class. There was a girl in my class, and I mean, she only listened to The Cure, and one of my best friends sat in front of me, he only listened to Iron Maiden, and that's what it was.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, so ended up going to the base, to this place the first time with somebody who was into punk.
Yes.
And it was a girl that I liked, and she liked the punk, and what did I know? And she was like, oh, come with me, we're going with this ever guys going. And on the train I went, and I was like, yo, this shit's wild, because At that time, everybody met in Town Centre in Mitchell's Plain, which was the second last station that way on the Cape Flats. And then you come through Lentegeur, Philippi, Manenberg, Bonteheuwel, Netterich, Heideveld, whatever, and then Langa, you know. But everybody met there, and that's where you did your beatboxing in front of Woolworths.
Crazy, man.
That's where you did your beatboxing, and people would bring the lyrics was that they wrote and the sketches. So it was like a hip hop bench, you know. And everybody, even if they lived closer to town, would come that way, so that the train ride together would be this unity trip.
Wow.
And there'd be beatboxing, and in the little standing area, there'd be people kind of doing yes.
Wow, man.
And the punks are kicking out the windows. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? But great. And
amazing. And amazing to know that there were like communities that time that were linking together and expressing themselves. That's mad. And were you graffitiing? Did you do any like graffiti work there or was that not a thing yet, where outside the event someone's busy graffitiing something? Or
it wasn't a thing per se, but there was graffiti in the club. I mean, I think I found a photo the other day where there was a tag of me in the club. It's in 1991. I'd have to look again.
Crazy. Would your first mural have been something you did at the school?
I'm a bit iffy on this. I don't know which one came first, but the artwork that I saw in that youth magazine.
Yes.
Now, I can't remember if the word in there said art or rap.
Yes.
But I tried to emulate what was in there, and I painted the word rap.
Yes.
So I genuinely can't say, but that was the first time I tried to do full color as an artwork, try to give it weight. Yes. But before that, I was doing tags and stuff because I used to belong to a boogie burning dance crew called the Supersonic Dynamos. And as part of our marketing and promotion, I took it upon ourselves to write, Supersonic everywhere because, to be honest, we were shit.
So boogie burning is like that whole like dun dun, or is that a whole? Is it similar to that, or what? What was the vibes? Or is it more like I think I've got it. It was like
it comes from Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Exactly.
So it's that with thinking. Janet Jackson, the Rhythm Nation.
Got you.
Yeah. But how we came up with that, I mean, how it become to exist,
amazing.
That we just in our little corner in the world had our own form of dance, and we interpreted songs differently, and we even played it differently, but it was because we were on an island,
Yes. Yeah, I love that, man. And so first mural, would that be, what was your first commissioned mural? Or your first commissioned work where you were like, wow, I'm going to make a business of this thing?
I'm going to do it a service to one or the other. So I'll say both.
Yes.
The very first one was by a person called Jean September.
Yes.
She was my high school history teacher.
Yes.
And after I did the Save the Ozone piece, so she said, okay, I'll take you to Macro and you can buy as much paint as what you want, but I want you to do Stop Sexism artwork in my class. So that I would say is the first commission where there was a payment involved.
What year was this?
This is going to have to be 1990. And then like 91, 92, a pool club came up in Retreat. That time pool clubs were still a thing. Get an empty room, chuck in some pool tables, jukebox, here you go. Shut the fuck up. Here's something to do for the rest of your lives.
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, so this dude also just said, paint whatever you want. He bought however many cans I needed. He never questioned it. I'd never done this before, so I was just making it up, and I was doing my name the whole time, and he said nothing, you know.
And he paid you?
Yeah.
Do you remember what you got paid for it?
He gave me 120 rand. I painted the whole week, every day. But I gave half to who was then my graffiti partner. I shouldn't have, because he didn't do shit. He rocked up on the first day. He was like, we've never done this before, and left. You know, but I gave him half because he was my crew member, and you know. Yeah. So those were like the first two of noteworthiness. I mean, without those two, I think it wouldn't have picked up, because to have done the graffiti inside a teacher's classroom was like a broad approval, I'd say, you know, in the school.
And it does something to you, right? As an artist, it almost legitimizes, like, wow, I could actually do this for the rest of my life, right? Something happens, you have a mental shift to go like, wow, people are seeing me for this thing, and it's almost like a acceptance you have internally, right?
Yes, man, yes. And you know, again, I tried to say this earlier, but we went off.
Yeah.
The school I went to, so I have to thank them, man, because they accommodated my shit. You know what I'm saying? Think about it today. If there's a student that just rocks up and just starts fucking graffitiing the whole school, no questions asked. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they just
special, man.
Yeah, they just let me do it. And there were murals on the school before me. Let me not take away anybody else's, you know, shine. But there were murals, and that's who they were, man. Like, if you did something, they would lean into you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that is special, and something I resonate to so much as well. You know, my school also made so many provisions for me back then, of like leaving the school to go to a show or something, and they really backed the thing I was doing, as strange as it was, making sounds out of your mouth.
Where you from?
Like, originally from Johannesburg.
Okay.
So grew up in the west side of Johannesburg.
Is it good or bad?
Depends how you
Call
look
him
at
out.
it.
Call him out. Is it good or bad?
It's terrible. No, I'm kidding. No, that's not that bad. No. Shout out to the West. But yeah, bro. So it's like I 100% resonate with that. And it takes special people, right? So I love that you're giving them their flowers, because it does take special people to go, you know what? This guy is expressing himself and something he clearly cares about. Like, how can we help support and cultivate that, which is so important. And I hope other people who are listening are doing a similar thing when they come across young people expressing themselves, you know. It's funny, I had Hayden Manuel on the show. He's like one of the top dudes in culture at Puma, and you know, he told me he started his whole love for the industry by tagging his name, and he saw Falko One, so he made his name Someone. It was such a great story. There's so many people like that have come across your work.
Was he someone? Okay, knew it.
He was
okay.
SUM1. So he's like he took such a liking and saw your work, and it's crazy, man. Tell me, you did this incredible documentary that I watched, where you went into small towns.
Yeah. And
you were doing these incredible pieces outside of. Is that something you guys put together, or did they come and approach you?
That is
it's about 5 years ago, eh? Maybe longer.
Longest the right answer. The first town I did was in 2009.
Yeah.
Already.
Okay.
Struggled to find proper money for it and put it together. But one day, Red Bull had this thing in Soweto, in Kliptown, called Amapico. And like 1 or 2 days before, they called me. They were like, "Yo, can you come up and paint here in the township?" And I thought, you know what, I'm going to take that opportunity to come up and treat.
Yes.
Once upon a time, I would treat Once Upon a Time, so they could kind of see what the vision is.
Yeah.
I didn't struggle to sell it to them before, but it's hard. The concept of it didn't exist easily, and this was opportunity to, and I'd get up in the morning and go paint because I could just walk across the road because of the hotel, and I had I had a fixer. What is the fixer's name? Lekker ou.
Yeah.
Yeah, lekker ou. Came every morning with the ladder, and painted, and kind of with that, and Red Bull came and they said, "Yo, how about we give it a go for a year?" And they got in Luke Daniel. I had a great photographer.
Yes, yeah,
great photographer. Great person to travel with. Yes. The right person. It could have gone and looked so much differently if it was anybody else. But yeah, the two of us went around the country. The documentary only has 5 towns. We did a lot more.
What an incredible thing, man. It really moved me watching that, and just like, you had this moment where you said the value of the property. It all of a sudden, that wall meant so much more once the artwork was there, and just what a beautiful thing,
George, I'm gonna tell you a true story.
Yeah,
I found listings online, like on Property 24, whatever the case. We have done graffiti in people's houses, and the house is for sale, and it's in the description. There's a Falko Fantastic. Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
That's wild.
That's wild.
That's wild shit for me.
Like, there's a world in which, because I was watching that documentary, I genuinely, I'm so surprised you're saying this, because that's what I thought. I was like, wow, there is a time, I wish you a super long, incredible life, but there's a time when we are not around in this world anymore. Yeah. And that artwork is going to live, and it's going to have a whole other meaning at that time, and it's like, you won't really understand the impact that's leaving until many, many years later. And it's like, what a crazy concept, man, that people are putting in their descriptions now on Property 24. What happens in 100 years? Like in 100 years time, like what's the impact?
They'll be putting the spaceships on Property 24 and saying it's a Falko Fantastic elephant on here.
Listen, when did you do the transition from the name? Did it immediately go into animals, or was there a different thing that you started drawing? And how did the animals come about, especially the elephants? I see you've got this insane love and liking to elephants. Was that always a thing, or when did that happen?
The elephants came about purposefully in 2014.
2014.
I was in Senegal. Shit went tits up quickly. Cultural differences, religious differences. Before going to Senegal, I painted chickens. There's a rap song by a guy called Danger Mouth, and in the lyrics, he kind of says, a chicken. He basically kind of says chickens don't stray too far from the coop.
Yes.
Which is the travel broadens the mind thing. You know what I'm saying? So you were saying how people just stay close to where they are, but they have, in my opinion, they have world opinions, but, not calling people chickens.
Yes.
But if you identify as one, carry on. Yeah, so I was painting chickens, like liquor, minding my own business, went to the Eastern Cape, painted chickens, and somebody will come and be like, oh, in our culture, we have this saying about chickens, and I'll be like, liquor, I felt like I had something that I would consider safe art.
Yes.
Went to Senegal, painted a chicken. Homie was like, yo, we use this shit in witchcraft, you can't paint it.
Really, bro?
It was the end of the chickens, man. But I painted some before and nothing happened, but I took it out into the street, like.
In a different context.
Yes, because I did it twice. And the first time I was being myself about it, where I was being a tourist, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
which I won't say regret, but I'm usually quite mindful of when I go somewhere. First thing I do is religious beliefs, very important, political, you know. So, I was ignorant about it and painted the first one, and I went back the next day to take a photo, it was gone. And the lady lost her shit because the son said I could paint it and she wasn't there. That was the other half of the problem.
Sure.
And then I painted another one, and that was just like, yo. And in the situation, I felt like, look, I made the effort to get here. I'm in West Africa, always wanted to come this side.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave my mark. And I thought, what can I paint that's that I can interpret with my own swing? And very loosely drew this elephant. If you look at the photograph today, it's a bit wonky, but didn't think much of it. Came back to South Africa, had to go to a festival in Prince Albert. Yes. They got a little location over there. Lekker, people very friendly. Don't interfere too much, but the usual. But so I had a week there, and I just thought I'd start painting the elephants. Just take one day off and just paint them and see how I feel about it. And that was it. Kind of, I posted one online, and can't say it was. I'm not going to say it was like most liked or whatever, but it felt right.
Yes.
And what makes me think it's the right thing is that I found my ID book, my green ID book from 1995, and you can just go to the station and buy you a cover, and it had an elephant on it. And I've still got it since 1995.
Incredible.
Yeah, and I thought to myself that it won't be unlike me to pick something that I'll use in the future,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible, man. That's beautiful. And you've been painting them since?
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting to paint them because it's the same thing over and over. But what people want them to be it's never right. But people always saying, oh, you're painting elephants with this and that. And I'm like, nah. And then they want an explanation. But, it takes the weight of it, man, to have to explain it all the time.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm not really too forthcoming with why I really do it. Now that I'm saying it out loud. So, yeah.
I love that. And tell me, how do you see the future, and what are you busy with now? Do you basically how are you just working on commissions? Are you working on things how often are you painting? What's your process today? Is it just someone books you, you go do a piece, or are you just everyday drawing? Are you what? Take me in the life, one day in the life of Falko Fantastic.
Yeah. I don't draw I don't draw at all.
Really?
I don't draw at all.
So it's only when you have a commission or when you feel like expressing yourself? How does that happen?
I never feel like expressing myself.
Really?
It's going to sound...
Yes.
I draw when I need to. That's the most important part of my approach, which is why I get angry. It infuriates me when people come up with a commission, man. And they're like, can you do some sketches and then we'll see if we like it. No, motherfucker. I'm busy. I'm busy doing other shit. I don't want to draw because I only draw when it's necessary and it's for your benefit.
Wow.
Because when I draw on occasion that is needed, I'm going to give it my all.
Wow.
I don't do sketches, nothing.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it irritates me, man. I'm being an artist about it, but the artist's approach isn't considered.
No, I love that. I love that, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? If there's anyone who must do that, it's you. And it's this time, especially this part of your career and the amount of, if we had to count how many works you've done, I think it would be impossible. It's got to be in the thousands, and if not more than that.
George, you know what works on my last nerve? Not the last, there's some other nerves left, but almost the last nerve.
Yeah.
Is when people point out work on my Instagram profile and they say, oh, we really like this work. Can you, and I tell them this is the process. This is how you're going to get this.
Yes.
oh no, can't you? There's a deadline next week. And nah. Then I come across as an arsehole. You know what I'm saying?
What is the process? Take us through it. So if I were to hit you up, so yo, Falko Fantastic, I could imagine you can't really commission a piece. It's I would like an artwork and they'll get what you feel like making, I would imagine. Or is there some sort of like leeway? Like what is your process?
Yes, man. There's leeway. I'm not a maniac. Okay. You know, I'm not an absolutist.
Yes.
But the first thing I usually want is I tell somebody, give me a deadline and stick to it. Don't bring it forward. Don't bring it back. Don't give me the brief and don't speak to me again.
Wow.
Because you're going to interfere with what I first saw to what I need to get to the end. Now, I might have thought of the idea the first time I picked up your page. I know what you want. Wow. But you've given me the deadline, so I'm going to ponder it. Now you come with all this shit. Oh, can we change this? No, motherfucker, we can't. The idea has been conceptualized and we're about to press lift off. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Yeah, so that's half of the process. So unfortunately, I have to be like, yo, give me 100% upfront.
Of course.
100% upfront because I have to commit. I have to put on everything I do to focus on you. Now, people think I'm sitting around drawing, as you asked before. Yes. No, I'm not. I'm fucking at Newlands, bro. I'm feeding the ducks. Sorry, I'm not feeding the ducks. I know you're not supposed to.
Disclaimer, he's not feeding the ducks.
The ducks feed themselves.
Yeah, they feed themselves. I love that. No, that's so true, bro. That's so true. You're out here, you're living life. And for you to commit to a piece of work, what I'm understanding is you need to drop everything else and you are consumed by that art and that moment and that creation. That's insane.
And I come across as an arsehole again.
No, you're not. You're not. Don't ever worry about that.
You have to explain.
And that's not the right client. If they're coming with stories, then that's not the one, you know?
Yeah, now you have to explain lateral thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is irritating in itself. If you're in an ad agency, you should know that shit. You should learn that shit in design school, in 100%. Theory of art.
100%. And tell me, do you ever think of like, I mean, do you have any desire to do any more sort of like a exhibition of any sorts, or are you just not there?
God, did we answer the previous question? I just went on a rant about something else.
No, it's good. It's good. It's spot on.
I am working on something.
Okay.
Amazing. I have to be working on something. It's my job.
Yes.
I take it very seriously. I take everything I do like that's do or die. Okay. So I am working on something. I've put it out there into the world. It's working out. It's working out great, to be honest. Amazing. Right questions are being asked. Right comments are being made. I don't like it when there's no negative comments. Doesn't help me.
I love that.
Yeah. So I've put something out there. I can't do exhibitions easily. I care too much.
Yes.
So I do one exhibition a year. So I'm trying to do an exhibition this year with what I've put out here, and it's my job to make what I want to put on the walls worth it.
Yes. So
that's what I'll be doing going forward with more contemporary side of things.
Yes.
But as graffiti, I want to do graffiti again. I mean, I'm 52 years old. Been doing graffiti since I'm 16.
Crazy.
I try to give up, but it just keeps calling me back. So I've said, okay, you've got me.
I'm yours.
I'm yours. I will be full of paint and I will have dirty hands and I won't ever have clean pair of shoes ever again because the universe wants me to do graffiti.
Tell me something. If you had to give advice to someone who's listening, who's starting their journey, right? And imagine them as like the 16-year-old version of you, right? And you had to shed some light and give them a couple of words as they get onto this journey.
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
it'll be abstract advice to a 16-year-old. But I think my general advice would be your partner. Comes down to your partner. Because as an artist, you need to fuck around, man. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have a partner that understands that you need to go do graffiti for the day and it's not for payment, but you need to take off the money that you don't have to buy spray paint, to paint your name on a wall that may or may not fall on any fertile soil. You know what I'm saying?
That's powerful. This is so powerful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's your partner. And the partner needs to understand when you're broke and not, think when it's fruitful, it's going to stay that way. You need a realist. That's what you need, And sometimes people find a partner in the height of the glory or in the height of the fame, and then things don't work out. And kind of, to fix the relationship. But I believe if somebody finds you when you're down, they're going to stick with you. But that's not even it. I'm ad-libbing to what I wanted to say. But your partner.
No, I love that answer so much. That's one of the realest answers anyone's given on the show, because that is such an important thing you touch on, like the people around you and how they support the thing, especially your life partner, is so important. And that can be people's parents, it can be, whatever situation they're in. It's like their perception of the thing that you're doing, and having that understanding of, I love the example of having to go out and graffiti and it's not a commission and I have to buy the cans and I'm just going outside to basically play.
That's true.
I'm going outside to go play, and you must be okay with that and not put additional stresses and worries. And so I love that a lot, bro. That's a very powerful answer, bro.
It came up the other day. I'm going to go off the track, but I'm definitely going to try and come back to, I painted at a what we call a graffiti jam.
Yes.
In Eastern Cape a few months ago. And it was a loose set of people. Some were from Durban, some were from Johannesburg, Eastern Cape. I'm from Cape Town. But what I found quite disturbing is that nobody spoke to each other. That, because in the graffiti world generally, you being there and painting with your partner or your friends, it's like your therapy, man. You're discussing life's bullshit. You're making art, but in it, you're like, hey, how's the work going? And the brother's like, oh, man, bro, I haven't had this, but you hear this job that came up. And, you're skinnering. But at the same time, you're like, hey, how's the mochi? Hey, which is complaining again, out of cash. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to identify, but if I get a job, it's your therapy for the day, man. So what I'm getting to is going to paint for fun as your therapy, man, and at the end of the day, no matter how shit your life is, you're coming home with a photograph. You've produced something instead of sitting at home and worrying about, how things going to get done. So,
that's powerful.
Comes back to the partner.
I love that, man. That's powerful. And just the fact that just the process of creating is like therapy. It's like meditation, and you have other people to share that with. And I love the analogy of coming home with a photo, because you haven't actually come home with fuck all other than the photo, but the photo is everything, actually. It's like you're so right, because you could have spent the day doing nothing and not even have the photo. So like that photo and that moment is a step towards the next thing and the next thing, Tell me if are there any works that you have done in the past that sort of live in your head rent free, that you always think about? Are there standout ones and moments that sometimes you find yourself thinking about?
Yeah, no, I can't think of any works off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are ones where I look at it. I think more locations, like places I've been, you're like, shit, I should have done an elephant there, you know, would have made a good photograph. Or sometimes we were in something crazy in the Free State. We were in the Free State somewhere. And I made a massive effort to get these like 3 buildings, and it would have made a great photograph. I mean, like, sweet spot.
Right.
But I just didn't do it because something spooked me, you know, and I always think about that, those 3 buildings. And just the other day I thought, yo, myself, I'll go back just to do it.
Definitely, you must.
Yeah, but
are there any that you have done that you think about, or do you sort of leave the ones that you have done? Like, is there anyone you looked at that you just burst out crying or felt something so intense that you always think back on?
I mean, I don't have ones that I really regret, because you can't live in the past.
No, of course. Are there any, not even from a resentful place, are there any you think about that you love so much that you go like, yo, that one?
There is one that I can. It's my favorite artwork. It's called The Conditioning, and it was inspired by somebody else's artwork that I saw online, and he did a version of it. There's a Turkish street artist. Yes. I don't know what he wants to be called, but street artist. He did an artwork that had elements in it that I liked, and I saw a different idea in it. And for a year or so, I was going around looking for what he had. And through a set of circumstances, I met this guy, and he was like, hey, I've got an office with a rooftop thing, come have a look. And there were these 2 air conditioners, big one, smaller one. And it was perfect. The condition of the wall is deteriorated, it hasn't been painted in like 10 years. Perfect, a little stubbly effect, so the absorbency of the wall. Even the spray paint I had at home, it was all trash cans, which were like everything was right about it, man. And I took 2 days to do it because I usually work quite fast. So it took me 2 days. So that in itself, I felt like, you know, and I look at that all the time, like even the naming of it. If you see the artwork, it speaks about religion, if I have to be honest.
Yeah.
But and it's something that I didn't struggle with, the whole artwork, which I like, because usually I struggle to come up with ideas. It takes me a while to. Do
you have a photo of it? Maybe you can send it to me, and then we can put it up for.
Let me show it to you now, man.
Oh, amazing!
Let me show it to you now. So we do this,
and then I'll put it up for everybody else.
Let's see if I can do this speedily.
Oh, that is incredible. Wow. Where is it?
In Deep River. It used to be in a dental technician surgery on the balcony.
Conditioning. That is phenomenal, bro.
Thanks, man.
Wow. And it has so much more meaning today.
Yeah, it's a rolling theme.
And it's going to have a whole other meaning 10, 20 years from now. Like, yeah. This is incredible, bro.
Thanks,
if you can just send that to me, I'll pull it off there, and I'll put it up for everyone else to see. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and
what does it make you feel when you look at it?
I'm proud. I'm very proud. That is like all of me. And because what I do like is like Baroque styled works, and I've got a few books. I don't easily buy a book, but I've got like a Baroque book that I look at, and I like the swing of it.
Yeah.
So that for me would be a homage to that, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Is there a lot of work in your own house? Like our walls, like
No. It's hard for me to put other people's work up. Like genuinely. It's hard for me to put my own work up.
really.
Yeah.
I was kind of about to ask your own work. Okay.
But in saying that, I've got 2 of my own works hung up in the lounge, but I put it up for a different meaning
Yes.
other than decorative.
Have you done like a book with everything you've ever done?
No.
I think that's something must be like a legacy project of yours, one day to encompass everything, the amazing adventures of Falko Fantastic.
Yes.
And then just everything you've ever done
Yes.
in one hard copy, beautiful book could be phenomenal.
Yes. I can get behind that.
You
Yeah. I mean, it has been brought up before, and we did give it a go to try and make a little book. But every time you think, it's not the time, it is not the time. But now, fuck it.
Yeah.
If it's not now, then when? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love that. And then my last question, anything from your side before I hit you with the last question?
It's broad. Go ahead.
I'd love to know if you could, let me see how I'm going to word this. If you could paint a billboard that every single person in the world was going to see, what do you think you would do on that artwork? You'll probably need more time to think about this, so I'm sorry.
Where's the billboard? Where's the billboard?
It's in Westridge, and everyone in the world will get to see this billboard that's up there. What is the message or the image you would leave people with?
Wow, how big is it in meters? Is it a rectangle?
Yeah.
Like classic.
Can be anything
classic.
you want, yeah.
Okay. Ask me something else while I think about it.
In your perspective, Falko Fantastic, what is the meaning of life? What's the meaning of the whole design? What do you think we're here for?
It's like a stoner's question.
100%.
That's like straight up stoner shit you're asking. Yeah. Honestly, the answer changes every time, every 5 years, every 10 years.
I love that.
I think if I want to underline it, I'm going to say it's learning. Just learning to be better.
That's powerful.
Because that's why you have experiences and, bad shit happen. Or sometimes you say something dumb to somebody and then, it sits with you, but then, that weight of it, did you not say it again without it having even been something, but you self-corrected. So, learning. It's kind of hard to learn and better yourself when everybody else around you a bunch of nays.
100%. Yeah, it is tough. Yeah.
It's definitely learning, man. Because I've been finding myself telling my daughter the whole time after something happens and we kind of take something from it, and I said, but that's the point of life.
Yeah.
What's the point of life then if you don't learn?
Yeah.
Because, I don't know.
Is your daughter drawing at all?
She does. Yeah, she does. I mean, she's only 15. Things come easily to her, which I struggle to understand because I think I'm a slow learner, very slow. So she's like a quick learner and it kind of baffles me a bit. So she draws, but I think that bit of, I won't say envy, but I'm like, fuck it. Makes me a bit too critical of her.
Yes.
If I have to be honest about it.
Yeah.
But she can draw. She doesn't care much for perspective, which works on my nerves. But yeah, I like the things she drew because she's honest about it. She doesn't try too hard, which I also like.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what would you want to be remembered as, bro?
I just want my works to be remembered. I think somebody had created this work and whatever else how I've lived my life and whatever else comes with it, that was necessary.
Yes.
But for one work to be put in front, I think that would make me happy. You know, I mean, already people come to you and say, "Oh yeah, you know, you meaningful for umbrella term," and I'll take it. But it's also hard for me to understand what it is, because I can understand what somebody else's meaningfulness is, you know. So when they come to me, then I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying, and people think I'm also being a dick again, you know. Yeah. But it's just me not being able to fathom what other people have taken from something I did on a wall with spray paint that I scrapped together, you know.
It's a beautiful thing, though, right? It really is. Look, from my side, Falko, I just want to say you're an absolute legend. It's an absolute honor to sit here with you, bro. And it's something like one of my favorite episodes.
What?
And just like you radiate this real energy of just realness, bro. It's like no fluff, you know? And
I got one of those lint cleaners that I use in my personality.
No, for real. And
thanks,
it's
man.
like and it's an honor to sit here with you, bro. And looking forward to anything you touch and anything you do. And you radiate such a light in this industry. Yeah. And you know, without you even knowing it, you've changed so many people's lives, and I think you're going to change so many more people's lives and directions and creativity, and you're doing it all unintentionally. You're just going out there after your swim, you're drawing some shit, man. So which is such a beautiful thing, and it's yeah, man. It's an absolute honor, bro.
Wow.
Thank you for making time. I really appreciate you, man. I think it's going to resonate with so many people, and I think this is going to be one of those timeless conversations that people can go back to in 10 years, 15 years and get a glimpse into you and your mind. So thank you. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you very much, George, for having me. Loved it. I was very worried about it. But yeah, please edit me sympathetically.
Absolutely. You don't need much editing, man. Come on, bro. I love the way you think and just the way your mind works, the way you articulate your ideas, and you know, it's phenomenal, bro. And it's gonna resonate with a lot of people.
Thanks. Okay, I wish us luck.
Thank you, man.
Thanks,
and we'll do it again, bro. Please, man. Once maybe the book comes out or something else.
Heavy is the head that wear the crown. When I take the crown off, I put it on ice.